Anticipate a handshake, and then, as Anderson was telling you, then the real moment happens. A one-on-one meeting. No policy people, no protection as far as we know. Just the leaders of the two countries. How long will it go? Minutes? Hours? Will we even know what happened in there? There is a lot of anticipation, a lot at stake. Let's bring back Anderson Cooper on the ground in Singapore. History is unfolding as we speak.
Yeah, you saw some photographers getting in place. That handshake about to take place really any moment now. And as you said, Chris, we really won't know the details of what they discussed except when President Trump decides to talk about it afterwards. There's not going to be, as far as we know, a recording. There's not going to be any minutes taken of the meeting that will be released as far as we know. So the only word we'll get of exactly what was discussed is going to come from President Trump and perhaps Kim Jong-un and the North Korean regime. Certainly a lot of questions about what sort of attitude both leaders, what strategies both leaders are going to be using in this first face-to-face meeting. This the meeting that President Trump wanted to have first before a larger meeting with other officials as well. And then there's going to be a working lunch as well. So, Chris, a lot to watch for, and certainly a lot of expectations in the hours ahead.
The category of unusual, though, Anderson, you know, obviously this moment is a first of its kind. But that idea of a meeting, face-to-face, just translators, of course, there's going to be tons of intrigue. You know, what other skills will each of these translators have on either side of the table? Will they be intelligence operatives? Will they be policy people as well? But the idea of being there face-to-face is one of the reasons that preparation was at such a premium heading into this, because this, as we all know, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. All the hype is over. These two men across the table, how will they regard each other? How will they mix? What will they put on this table initially? What tone will that set going forward? These are major considerations. And, you know, journalists like us, we're left reaching here. There has been very little provided in the way of detail. Even the off-the-record information about scheduling leaves huge blocks of time with a lot of unknown.
Yeah, President Trump was beginning to change sort of the parameters for what the meeting was going to be, calling it in recent days a kind of a get-to-know-you plus, not something, not trying to raise expectations too high in terms of concrete issues being hammered out and decided on, as you know, Chris, any kind of verification, which Secretary Mike Pompeo has talked about over and over again, the importance of verification for any kind of denuclearization. That is going to take years, perhaps, or at least months to set up the kind of protocols for that, and years to actually execute.
Sure. The what of denuclearization is the easiest part of the ask, right? It gets into when it happens and how. We have a ton of great guests to help us through all these happenings as we wait for this face-to-face meeting, the first of its kind between Trump and Kim Jong-un. Anderson and I will take you through it as it happens. We have by my side CNN national security analyst, former director of national intelligence, Jim Clapper. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks, Chris.
So some of the things that Anderson and I are discussing, this is a first. For Trump to have made this moment happen, how big a deal is this?
Well, it's a huge deal, really a big deal, and I've long maintained that, particularly after I went to North Korea in 2014, that it seemed to me at the time the North Koreans are stuck on their narrative and we're stuck on ours. And it, I think, takes the bigger partner to change that narrative, and that really is what President Trump has done here. So, yes, it's a huge deal.
All right, so we're about 90 seconds away, they tell us, from this. This is ceremonial, the two men coming out, the handshake. Do you, there's Kim Jong-un right there, live on your screen right now, walking into position. Obviously, he is alone, unintended, coming in. Here comes the President of the United States. And here are the two gentlemen. Let's watch the moment. And just like that, History has been made. We have Anderson Cooper and Jim Clapper with us. We're watching them right now. The men speaking, I guess, Jim, with who is anticipated to be their translators, right?
That's the way